Hi, I'm Greg Grubb, opening a shop called Electric Vehicle Conversions Ohio. And yeah, it's here. I have a contract to do a 99 Ranger. I have an S10 and a 1990 Subaru Justy. Those are going to be the first three. Probably going to end up doing the Ranger first, just because. Here's an exact parts list, in case anybody was wondering why it's so expensive. You got batteries, controller, motor, charger, DC to DC converter, pot box, some kind of amp, voltmeter, vacuum pump, some shunts, adapter plate for your motor to transmission, and the coupler from motor to transmission. You need a main contactor, you need probably 100 feet of wire. A lot of people use trailer wire. I think that's what I'm going to use. That way you get four, you got 2 and 2 off of just a single strand. You need to replace your inertia switch. You get in an accident, you don't want power going to those batteries, you need an inertia switch to shut that off. A safety interlock, which is going to be connected to that inertia switch. Key switch relay, you need a couple power diodes for the heater, controller, liquid cooling for the controller. Some people say, is that necessary? I've seen computers use it that need it. And if you're going to push this car to the limits, you're going to need it anyway. You're going to want it. Pushing 100 amps through that. 1,000 amps, I said 100. You'll cruise on the highway around 3. Heavy acceleration it could bring you about 1,000. You want to keep it cool. Liquid cooling, it's not a problem. Then you need an RPM readout, of course a charger, charge port, and did all the calculations on range, battery capacity, amp hour, and the number of cells. I'm using 22 cells in the S10 that are only 40 amp hours. Now that's just to say this is the cheapest you can do it with lithium ion batteries. Warp 9 motor. Batteries are expensive and they are heavy. So if you already have a heavy car, it's going to cost you more. Somebody recently asked me to do a hybrid for them, and it weighs right around 2940 as a gas electric hybrid. I told him the price and I didn't think maybe he was a little shocked, I don't know. But that's a heavy car to convert. I'm using an S10 which weighs 2,300 pounds and a Subaru Justy which weighs just over 1,700. Those are going to be strictly commuters, 40 to 50 mile range. He also wanted over 100 mile range. Flipping through my pages because I got a price for him somewhere. 100 mile range, pushing a car after converted would be 3,300 pounds. I can get him 110 miles, but that's $8,000 just for batteries. 8,000's a lot for one piece. But these are Calb 3.7, 3.5 nominal. Probably going to start them off at 3.5 to 2.8. It's the only thing you're going to use, so you're not even using a volt. That's amperage, and nobody wants to go into that math on a video. I would. I don't want to make a 2-hour long video. Okay. I have this. Like I said, I don't know how to edit. I'm not a good artist either. You got motor, you got your battery pack, your shunt, your shut off. Over here's your key switch, your auxiliary battery, your DC to DC converter's got to charge that. And then you got your relay and your cutoff, your inertia switch, and your pot box, and then your relay to your voltmeter, and the controller, of course, is right there, and the motor. But and your batteries, main shut off on that, surface disconnect, whatever you want to call it. This is a diagram I drew up for a 91 Festiva. And I really wish I knew how to do that on a computer, make it look nice, and I can just imprint. But I don't know how to edit. If anybody knows me, I know cars, I don't really know computers. I've owned over 60 cars in less than 20 years. And the number one question I keep getting is, why so expensive? That's what they cost. I have an opening special. It's all, you pay for all the parts. I'll do all the labor. $7,000 plus parts. Seems expensive, doesn't it? Well, you take your car to any other shop, you buy $16 brake pads, they're going to cost you $32. That's the industry standard. Pay twice for parts, plus labor. I don't even want to do that. Most people that want an electric car don't want to keep paying for gas. It means they're trying to save money. And we had a thing about maintenance. I got an email about maintenance. What would be the maintenance requirements of an EV? Well, you got to keep track of your tires, your brakes, suspension. That's about it. If I build it, you have a problem, bring it back. Or give me a call. I have a signed contract for a 99 Ranger. Got all the parts listed in here with prices. This guy's looking at right around 18.5, 18.6. I think the contract settled at the 7 plus with the opening month special. So he's paying $25,600 for a 99 Ranger. I can almost guarantee you it cost him less when he bought it new. But he's probably spent twice that since. Maintenance, oil changes, tire rotations, all that. Anyway, this has become my new best friend. I've got about 4 of them. And I use them a lot. It's just a voltmeter, but it has volt, and it has the ACV, and everybody's seen a voltmeter. What else was I going to talk about? I did that, and I did that. But yeah, weight is the main thing. If you have a heavy car and you want it electric, I can do that, but it's expensive. The batteries alone could set you back what a new car cost. But you'll never stop at a gas station. You'll never change your oil. People ask what the payback is. Depends on how much you put into the car. But average maintenance wise, oil and everything, I don't even count that. I drive my car over 1,000 miles a week. It's a 2001 Saturn SL1. 1,000 miles a week. That's more than 2 tanks. 10.3 gallon tank. 10.3, 22, 26 gallons a week. It's $100 a week minimum. And every other week I try to change the oil, which is, it'll be due tomorrow by the time I get to work tonight and back. Then people ask, how long does it take to charge? Well, depends on the pack size as well. We got 144 volt 60 amp hour cells to a Brusa dual charger. We got it down to about 4.5 hours, and that's only around 80-mile range. Range has always been the problem. It's the only reason electric cars didn't last in the first place. Tesla built some in the 1900s. Cario, Baker, a couple others made electric cars in the 1900s. Tesla's was apparently the best back in the day. Most expensive. 1909, I think. It's the first car they seen. It cost over $1,000. And now the Teslas are still the same. You want a Tesla S model? That's $100 grand. They say the starting price is $91,000, but by the time you get it to the point where you can drive it, it's going to cost you $120. They use a Panasonic battery, which I can't find, and nobody seems to think they're for sale. They're the size of a AA battery. 3.3 volt, 1 amp hour. You put 100 of those together, you get 100 amp hours, which is only about, it's about 85-mile range. Anyway, and the batteries, you can't use the whole batteries, which is the reason you need to have your meters correct. If you go down 10% on a lithium-ion battery, that's where it'll stay. It won't come back. So, I don't really know what else to say. I need to hire a welder, and everything else is wiring and placement. There's a chill plate that comes with the controller, heatsink, A&N fittings on it for liquid cooling. I really don't know what else to tell you. I'm going to try to use Brusa chargers. They've had some significant improvements in the last year, probably. And I don't really know, that's a lot of dead space. But there's an alarm going off in the background. If you can't hear that, I don't know where that's coming from. Sounds like a car alarm. But yeah, 30 amp fuses. You got to fix your speedometer. Terminal strips. I have an X next to that. Talk about that. Now, the Soliton Junior and the Soliton 1 both come with their own strips connected to them, but you still need some other things, like for your vacuum pump, your electric brakes, if you want electric brakes. I'd rather not put electric brakes on a car. They're iffy on a trailer. I don't feel right about them being on a car. I'd rather just run the vacuum to the brakes. And I'm probably not talking about the things you want to hear about. So if you watch a video, ask a question. I don't care. Put it there. Email me. My phone number's on the website, on my Facebook page. If you do call me and I don't answer, leave a message. I'll call you back. I sleep about 3 hours a night, just because. I think it's a waste of time. And our monthly specials, our opening month special is still going on until the end of June. It's parts plus 7,000. All the labor will be taken care of. And don't take that as a sponsorship. Reason I don't have any teeth. Some people were talking about a $7,500 conversion. Why would I pay you parts plus almost that? A $7,500 conversion is not going to get you very far. That's going to get you lead acid batteries in about 20 to 30 miles, depending on the weight of your car and rolling resistance. I do require that if I do a conversion, that you do upgrade your brakes. No matter how you do it. If you want the electric, it's cheaper. It's not cheaper to go that way. It's cheaper just to add a vacuum pump. and use your regular hydraulic brakes. And much safer from what I've seen. Like I said, I've owned 60 cars. I say owned, I mean drove. I didn't just buy them and set them in the yard and they sat there. I drive cars like they should be driven. And if they break, I'm done with them. Never owned a Nissan for that reason. Though I am driving a Saturn, which has a Toyota motor in it. It's 1.9, but it's an inclusive 6-speed automatic. It was a one-off car. And it's I put 100,000 miles on it in 6 years. 5 years. 5 years. Just over 5 years. 100,000 miles. People say that's a lot. I've had cars in between. It's not the only car I drive. The problem is I always have to put gas in something. And here in about 2 weeks I gotta take a trip to Missouri. And I'm probably gonna need to take something bigger than my car. I gotta pick up a motor, controller, and a batch of batteries. I'm trying not to do component sales, but a lot of people want to do it themselves. A couple people watching this video probably know more about it than any other customers. They're not going to come here for conversion. They're going to come to me for information. And that's fine. Ask all the questions you want. Like I said, you can post it to my Facebook page. You could just put it on this YouTube clip, or you could go to my page, get my phone number, and just call me. Not a good editor, or we wouldn't have all this dead space in the middle. But I do know cars, and you know, batteries, brakes, tires, AC systems. That's why I got a couple computer guys I've been talking to already. One of them's got an idea to do something with the Justy after it's converted, which we'll probably end up doing that. We get the S10 and the Justy, and then we'll get something nice. Got a line on a Miata. I don't know how long it's been sitting, but that would be a pretty good vehicle to convert. You know, MX-5, whatever it is, Mazda. Real 2.35 speed, lightweight car. A buddy at work has an aluminum bodied 63 Porsche that he's just been waiting for a drivetrain to put in because he didn't like the Volkswagen. He didn't like the Volkswagen setup. Just didn't think it had enough power. And it's aluminum 63 Porsche. It's aluminum body, aluminum frame. Everything's in it except for motor, and there's transmission in it. I believe it's the Boxer 5-speed. So it's not a 63. It would be a 4-speed. But it's easy. I mean, not easy. I don't want to make it sound like, hey, buy these. It's all easy. A lot of people do think they can do it themselves, and a lot of people can't. I had to hire a welder, but I've pulled engines before. I've rebuilt transmissions. I've done everything you could do to a maintenance vehicle. So editing. See? That's why I need it. Because I think a lot. The batteries are really, somebody asked about lead acid conversion for under 10 grand. It's possible, yeah. You can do it. I wouldn't. those batteries are going to be dead in 2 years, maybe 3. And that's if you don't buy 10 of them and 2 of them are bad already. I mean, lead acid is so inconsistent. I don't know why they still put them in cars, even through an AC system. You know, a couple companies hid them in the body of the car just so you wouldn't have to look at them. Then you drive the car around for a couple of years and leave the radio on one night, and now you got to take your car apart to find a battery. Which brings me to why I like the pickups for the electric conversions. They have this little space in the back called a bed. You pick that bed up. Most pickups have 2 rails, one on each side. Perfect for a battery compartment. There's an exhaust on one side and the gas tank in the other. You don't need either one of them. It frees up a lot of space right there in a pickup. I mean, it's out of the way, you can make the bed fold up, everything's hidden. It looks like a standard stock vehicle. Cars are a little harder though, because they saved all the weight for the passenger. Now they're just as nice because it has a high back seat, a small gas tank, which isn't much room at all. 8.7 gallons. That's not a lot of room. That's maybe 4 or 5 of these cells. The cells aren't very big. They're 5.5 by 4 by 11 3/4. That's the 180 amp hour cell. That's still fairly big to try to cram under a hatchback. Of course, like the Porsche and the Miata, you can always put a saddlebags, you know, a couple on each side, some under the back seats. That's why I like the lithium ion. You can put it wherever you can put it. It can be upside down if you need it to be upside down. It can be sideways, it can be laying flat. You can just line your frame with it. I'd rather have them in containment boxes. So, vehicle choice is a big thing. Someone mentioned doing a Honda Hybrid. Told him the price and why. He still seemed kind of shocked. It's a heavy car, and as a hybrid it has 2 motors. 1.4 inline 4-cylinder, and I believe it was a 36 volt, 7 horsepower, I think it was. I might be wrong on that, but it wasn't much on the electric motor. And they thought it would be easier. Maybe he thought it would be easier to convert a hybrid because it was already a hybrid. Just 36 volt cobalt batteries are useless for what I'm doing. Perfect in a hybrid of that type. Because that hybrid, the electric motor, doesn't move the wheels. It moves the gas motor. So what I'm saying is it wouldn't make it any easier to have a heavy hybrid, because you're still going to have to remove those components. I would just suggest to him to get a lighter vehicle to do this. He can convert it. It's not a problem. Over 100-mile range on a car that was going to end up weighing 3,500 pounds. You'll be spending about $10,000 on just the batteries to get that out of that car. That's fine with me. I can do that. But you know, what's the point in having a hybrid if you're gonna have to pay more for the conversion than you paid for the car originally? So I can still do it. I did the math on it, and it didn't make sense to spend $25,000 on a $25,000 car. Obviously, if you love the car, go right ahead. I'll gladly do that. But what he was looking at was 112 cells at $259 a piece. It didn't seem worth it. Where it becomes worth it is where you've had it for 5 years and nothing's gone wrong. Maybe you've changed the tire or the brake pads and there's nothing else wrong with the car. Now, if you drive hard and heavy-footed, yeah, they're not going to last very long and you're not going to get the good range. And people always say, you know, you can't just go an electric car. I think Tesla just proved everybody wrong on that one. Problem with Tesla is they're $100,000. So either spend $100,000 or spend $25 converting the car you already have, the car you already like. You know, slap some new tires on there, upgrade the brakes, suspension. I mean, it's all part of the plan here. Just want people in electric cars. Like I said, I've owned big blocks. Anybody knew me in high school can tell you that. I've owned quite a few cars, quite a few gas guzzlers. I've owned some small ones. I've owned Metros, Geo. I had a Storm. I've also had Chargers and Aspens, Grand Marquis, extended vans. Really all over the board with what I've owned. I got a Saturn car out back, an SUV, a little mini Subaru, and an S10. I don't really know what else to say. Yes, I do. I know you guys have questions. Ask them. I will answer them. I'll answer them in video if you want. I do like the touch screens. I had a guy with an Apple, with an iPhone. Wouldn't know if he can put his iPad in this. To have his voltmeters, amp meter, you know, state of charge. What's his heat controls, his radio controls. Wouldn't know if I can incorporate Windows and everything. Just one big pad for everything. And yeah, they already make an app. They make an app for the iPhone to control your Windows. Electric start. Of course, you don't need to start an EV, but if you want it to be warm, you gotta turn the heat on. And fiddled around at his garage for a little while, and he can now, from his house, with his iPhone, turn his heat on, but not his car. And that's a regular combustion motor. He can not only turn his heat on, he can turn his radio on, he can put his windows up or down, he can turn his headlights on, he can even turn on his turn signals. It's a nice little app. I think I'm going to incorporate, if I can use that app, split the screen for your volt and amp hours, your state of charge, kind of your gas meter. And that's another thing, meters. Everybody knows, well, not everybody, but everybody should know, you can't deplete these batteries. Dead. You can, but you shouldn't. There's only a specific range between that 3.7 volt battery that you can use. They call it a 3.3 volt battery. It's a 3.7. If you overcharge them, you can get them to 4.2. They tell you not to use the bottom 30%. So, you want to do the math with me. You start at 3.5, you can only go to 2.8. That doesn't. People say that's not enough of the battery. If you go below 2.2, you're in a danger zone, and if you go to 0, you're done. I've had people say that they will recharge the ions from Calp, and they will be fine. You take them down to 0, I can almost tell you if it's a pack, you take them to 0, some of them will come back up. There's no guarantee that any of them will. But it's just like a drill battery. If it's dead, shock it. It'll work. There's some dangers in there. The danger is if you start unplugging batteries and everything else, then you're gonna have to call me. Let's say a 44 cell pack. You know, if you're only using 70% of it, you really shouldn't use 70%. Take it down to 30%, but you should be charging it to 80 or 90 in the first place. So really, you're only using half of that capacity. It's a good thing about ion batteries, though. Let's say you fully charge it, run to the store and run back. That's a 5-mile drive. Plug it back in. They say 7,000 cycles, but if you're not fully discharging it, it will get more. Meaning if you only use 20% every time, you're going to get it, it's going to last a lot longer. And these batteries are guaranteed to work from the manufacturer for 10 years. Under full distress. That means discharge to 20%, recharge completely, discharge to 20 every time. They will last you 10 years, over and over and over again. But the warranty actually says 7,000 cycles is what you get. There are people driving around on their 20,000th cycles. Lead acid just can't do that at all. They won't go as far. They will weigh your car down more. And they won't last as long. I am in Columbus. And I've researched a couple EV companies. Were 2 in Columbus. One was in Blacklick. The other one is in Victorian Village. The Victorian Village one is still there. They make light bulbs. They really didn't want to talk about converting a car for me. So I would imagine they don't convert cars anymore. They do make a nice 2 to 10 watt energy saver bulb. And they do make automotive bulbs as well in lead acid and LED. Just to save energy. And the other one's in Blacklick, and he is currently selling his stuff on eBay. He's done as well. He sold a car I think 6 months ago. He sold a car that was converted. Had dead batteries in it. Lead acid. He's been in business since '94 though. And he's done. He's literally just liquidating what he has left. So, literally the only game in town. There's another guy in Cincinnati who, according to his website, he is converting cars in Cincinnati. Yeah, call the phone number, nothing there. Look up the address, look at it on real-time Google, and there's nothing there. It's just an empty building. So those are the 3 competitions I had in Ohio, and they're all gone. And this is a long video, so make sure you ask lots of questions. And if you want a $7,500 conversion, I can't help you. Don't want to do lead acid. I've seen 30-mile range cars where $7,500 wasn't enough to buy the batteries. Depends on the weight, rolling resistance. Of course, you want no drag brakes. You want energy tires. You want 0 gaff in your alignment. I mean 0, 0. Most cars are like 07. Most of them lean in from the factory. I don't know why. Maybe they like you buying tires. You do your alignment and tires right, you'll never have to buy another tire unless you run over something. People know that. Anyway, send in your questions. If I missed anything, let me know. You have any questions? Ask. Like I said, I'm on Facebook, Electric Vehicle Conversions Ohio. And yeah, there's no the or of. It's made that way, so I could write it out as the initials. It says EVCO. Electric Vehicle Conversions Ohio. That's my, you can get it on Facebook. It's a business page. My phone number's on there, in case you were wondering. I'm usually at work or under a car. So, don't be surprised if I don't answer. But if you leave me a message, I'll get back to you. You can text, pictures, whatever. Prefer you just to keep it on my page. But if you feel you need more in-depth details, feel free. I mean, I got the phone. I use it for work, and that's about it. I got everything on it. No, this isn't my buddy. I have this one on me most of the time I'm under a car. Even if I'm just under there changing the oil, I will be under there and I'll check a couple things. Very handy, even if you don't have an EV. I think that's it. The opening special is still available till the end of June. And in July, we will have a different one. Every month we will have a different special. But June's special is the grand opening special, which is you pay for all the parts, and then $7,000 will get all the labor done. It will get the welding done. It'll get the wiring done. It'll get you a car that'll not take gas. As far as range, that's up to the vehicle and really up to your needs. If you're just running to the store and back, you don't need 100 miles. Maybe you never leave the city you live in. Maybe you do. I know people that drive up here from 4 counties away, 100-mile one-way trip to work. Some vehicles, that's a full tank to get to work and back. That's a little crazy. That's what that is. It's crazy to know that you're spending $100 to go to work for 2 days. And you gotta change your oil. I know a lot of you don't change your oil when it's supposed to be changed. Trust me, I know. And then you got people that just don't know what they're talking about with cars. If you want an electric one and you want to spend the money and you don't know how to even put washer fluid in it, that's fine with me. And I wanted this to be kind of educational, but I don't really know what topics you need to know. I know how to build an electric car. You got questions maybe I don't know the answer to. Those are the best kind, because then you'll make me do homework. Just what this laptop's over here for. Yeah. Any questions, ask. Email. Put it right on my page. Put it on this video. I don't know. Call me. Text me. Whatever. Just don't text me out of nowhere and not tell me who you are. I guess it's on YouTube. I'll get a couple weirdos. And the Bruce Charger, that's why I brought that up. They've had a couple problems, which they've fixed. The Mitsubishi electric car kind of failed because their charger was a malfunctioner. First thing to blow was the trans relay from the charger to the done charging shutoff switch, so it would just keep charging. Nickel cobalt batteries would catch on fire fairly quickly. I'm not using those batteries or that charger. And really what I'm using, and the only way to make it cause a fire is if you bypass a couple safety measures. 4 in the charger, and there will be 1 on the battery. So there won't be any fires in my cars. That was the question I got last time. Aren't electric cars catching on fire? Most of the Mitsubishi electric cars are fine. I think they only had 6, but they only sold like 1,500 cars. That's 0.5% of their cars catch on fire. That's any percent of your car catching on fire is a problem. You know, how long's it been? Probably the 30s since a gas-powered car would just catch on fire, sitting in your garage. And that was if this happened and if this happened. Mine aren't going to catch on fire. But Mitsubishi is practically bankrupt right now because a couple of theirs have. So I think it did say 9 out of 1,500. And there's one up here in Columbus at a car lot with a window sticker on it, and you can't buy it. But if you buy a Montero, they give you one. They went from a $60,000 electric car to needing to give them away because they were starting fires. And that's a big concern for me because most people that buy one will park it in their garage to plug it in. And that's not only a car catching on fire, that's your house. That's #1, safety. I've been to a drag strip quite a few times. Safety is utmost. Can't sell somebody something that's just a brick waiting to hit something. That's another reason I don't like the electric brakes. People use them in their conversions. I don't like electric brakes. Your fuse blows, you got no brakes at all. They're no drag brakes. For EVs, they don't drag, so you don't have to push that brake while you're pushing your tires. Just makes it more efficient. And if you ask me, it makes it dangerous. It is literally a 30 amp fuse between you and being able to stop. You add 700 pounds worth of batteries, and you got no brakes. Even a little car can be dangerous. Always got the handbrake. Never forget about the handbrake. And about handbrakes. Someone asked why I was doing 5-speed only vehicles. I'd rather use a 1-speed transmission, 8 and 28 maybe. Maybe a 645. The 1-speed, Tesla has a 1-speed, and that's what it is. It's an 8 to 28 ratio. But like I said, if you want to buy Tesla, you got 100,000, please buy one. You'll love the car. I got to ride in one about a month ago. Touchscreen is amazing. Display is amazing. Feels like you're in the back seat of a Bentley. So much room. And I didn't know till I got out that it has 2 bump seats in the back. Rear facing, like a wagon. But There's room for 7 adults. I'm not a small guy. I'm not the biggest guy. The guy driving was 6'9", and he said it was comfortable. Plenty of leg room. It's like sitting in the dining room. But that was just for fun, a car show. 330-mile range on a Tesla. You don't know why you're paying $100,000 for it. What do you want? Anyway, send me your questions. I know you got some. A couple of you already want questions answered. I think I covered a couple of them here. It's a long video. I don't know how to edit yet. Might just get a camera guy and maybe script something. Kind of all over the place with my notes here. So now you know, at least I know we went through a parts list. The weight issue is only a price issue. How many batteries do you need? Obviously, if you bring me a 71 Porsche, that's one of the easiest vehicles to do. They're light. Everything's in the back. You can put all the batteries elsewhere. You can saddlebag, put them on the front firewall. You can put everything wherever you want. Just ask.